Hello, all you kind-hearted people, and the occasional evil bastard as well. But anyways, again, my voice is trash because, again, I went fishing, and again, I had the same problem, not caused by eating massive cupcakes, but caused by the steroids I was taking. Because I got the steroids on Friday, but I had them picked up late on Friday. So I figured, you have to take 6 pills your first day taking them, and you have to space them apart. You kind of need a whole day for that. Um, so I was like, man, I don't want to start taking them at night. And so I was taking them Saturday, and I went fishing on Saturday. And then after I got home from fishing, um, they were upset in my stomach. And let me say this as politely as possible, because not everybody has a strong stomach. But um, hmm, I had to swallow to keep my medication down. Let's put it that way, for about 4 hours. Like, it kept wanting to come back up, and I wasn't wasting those steroids that I had to finagle my way into. So that was a couple of nights ago. So naturally, my voice is still messed up. My throat was very sore yesterday from stomach acids, but it's not so bad today because last night I just didn't eat, and I didn't take my final dose of steroids because you're supposed to take 6 pills the first day and 5 pills the second day. And I'm like, I'm not risking another night of sleeplessness and 4 hours of torture. So I'm just gonna take four. Because last time I had them, I took them incorrectly accidentally, and it didn't seem to, they still helped my ankle. So you're supposed to do five. You're supposed to drop a pill every day. 6, 5, 4. They give you 21. I think you take them for 5 days. But anyways, you get the picture. You drop a pill every day. You can count backwards. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. I thought I saw some improvement in my ankle like last night, but it must have been an optical illusion or wishful thinking or whatever, because I checked it out thoroughly this morning, and I'm like, mm, nah, it's still swollen. No real differences in the knee, but those pills taste horrible, man. I had never tasted any pill that tasted as bad as those things. And I had them once before, and I don't remember them tasting that bad. But yeah, they were just, as soon as you put them on your tongue, they're just nasty. I got it. Yeah. I drank one with Pepto Bismol last night. So, that's not helping me in other ways, but I had to drink a bunch of Pepto Bismol. Uh, that was one of the worst nights I had in a long time, but it's like, can't sleep, can't, vomit, have to keep my medicine inside me. So, I tried everything I had in the house. I had whole milk I drank, uh, baking soda water. I don't know how many chugs on the Pepto. You know how they have them stupid caps on there? They get all funky and you have to rinse them out. I'll just throw them away immediately and just drinking what I seem to feel is an appropriate amount, I guess, to make the cap measurement. Anyways, that's enough about that. But that was a hellish night, man. I was like, please, God, let this be over with. I might have even said that aloud. But gotta have my steroids to see if they'll help. I'm only in, this will be day 3 of taking steroids. So um, I have a little video that I'm going to leave in the description box of the water that I went fishing at. And you can see my friend across the pond on the pier and my brother. The video is very short and it's very windy outside, so it might as well have been short, especially when I had the camera or my phone facing into the wind. And I didn't get too close to my brother, but that's where I was headed, was toward my brother to tell him that I did not have video of him catching his 5-pound bass because, I was like, just land the fish, dude. because he was like bringing it. He's like, I'm going to bring it over to you because I guess, I don't know. He wanted me, I don't know, but I was like, well, let me uh, take video of you. But it was so bright outside, I couldn't see anything on the phone at all. And I never, I never take video with my phone, so I didn't know what I was doing. I saw a red button and I thought it was going. All I did was take a picture of him, like with his rod bent a little bit while he was fighting the fish. That's where the video should have started. But on my phone anyway, there's a red square, and you push the red square, and it turns into a red circle, and it has the timer at the top. None of this I could see. I could only see that there was a red thing going on there, and red when I'm on the computer means record, but red when I'm on the phone means ready to record. And you push the square and it turns into a circle. But, I wasn't planning on taking any video of anybody. It was just an impromptu thing that happened. I did manage, I'll put it in a thumbnail, I did manage to get a picture of his fish because I didn't know I had the camera on. I thought I had turned it off. So I turned it on when I thought I had turned it off. So there's a good picture of my knee, and then there's like, look at that fish, and then there's just this picture of empty ground, because he was just saying, look at that fish in general, but that was kind of funny. And, I'll just like show you a picture of him measuring it out, but you won't be able to see much in it anyway, because apparently you can take video, and when you load it into this computer, you can take stills from the video, so that's what I did. Because he said all I wanted was a picture. And he said something, insensitive that he would have took offense to. Like, well, I guess next time I'll take my own pictures. But he's like my dad in a lot of ways. So, like my dad would say insensitive things, but then get his feelings hurt really easily. Or take offense at things really easily. So, when I showed, like, for instance, I showed him, like, the video, and he's talking on it, and he's all excited. He's like, I sound like a hick. And I thought to say, well, you kind of are a hick. But I didn't say that because he wouldn't like that. So it's just, other people don't think about that stuff, I mean, I'm fairly thick-skinned, but yeah, he's the guy that said I walked like a retarded baby giraffe. So, he's also the guy that I gave like a one of those mini fridges, because that's when the folks were living, and he was spending all his time upstairs, and he used to be like, man, I always wake up with a bad throat and stuff, then I have to walk all the way downstairs and get a drink. So I conspired with a relation, and we went in on one of those mini fridges, and he's like, well, we're opening presents on Christmas, and it's a big old mini fridge, and it was still in the box, and he said something about, where's my present? And I was like, it's under the table, you faggot, just as a joke. He took real major offense at that. It's like, hey, I got you a freaking refrigerator, I'm allowed to make a joke about your sexuality, I'll never forget that. It's like he cared more about me calling him a derogatory name for a homosexual as a joke than it's a good Christmas joke, I think. Very Christmassy. He cared more about that than the fact that, he bought him this expensive present. Relative, the widow's mite, relative to my income, is an expensive present. Anyways, what can I say? I was talking about love the other day. Love don't make any sense. You can love people and hate them at the same time. You can love people and not like them. Like I said, I love my dad, and he guaranteed me a miserable, hideous existence. There was no chance of anything else. So, I still love him. It's just the way it is. Now, my older sister, I don't think I love her, because she was plaguing my thoughts this morning, and I don't think I love her, which is weird. I love my older brother, who I never see, but he was he's never been emotionally abusive to me. I guess, I don't know. I don't want to think about that too much. I got enough gloomy thoughts in my head. I have Angry Bird thoughts. I guess that's a game that I never played or got into, but yeah, I hear them birds chirping. It's raining out now, which is cool because it shut the birds up, but I was wanting to kill some birds this morning. Or one bird in particular that was hanging outside my window. My older brother, was like real hickish, if you want to call it that, or woodsy. So he would like identify bird calls and stuff like that. Oh, my throat's killing me. I took my first steroid pill with a couple of Greek yogurts. I'm drinking coffee. But yeah, I haven't talked for 24 hours, so, you know. That's like riding a bike, you never forget. You know, I logged miles and miles and miles on both the bicycle and these vocal cords, so it just, it just hurts. That's what a stomach acid will do, and I have this new like thing I gotta watch out for. And I know those steroids are upsetting my stomach because I was fine, and then I could almost time it out, like, oh, it's a half an hour in, I'm starting to feel sick. Why that is, I don't know. Or I noticed like the two times I got really sick were both the days that I went fishing. But on both of those days that I went fishing, I had to take extra gabapentin. I took no gabapentin at all yesterday, but I had to take like extra gabapentin. And so maybe they don't jive too well with steroids, or just the general cocktail mix I got of medications in me don't go well with steroids. I don't remember them upsetting my stomach. I remember them making me horny, or more horny than usual. And I remember um, feeling like aggro, they call it, the kids call it nowadays, just feel real irritable, like increased irritability. I had a perfectly good joke, and neither one of them guys got it, because I was like, I'm on steroids now, so you two better not irritate me, because I weigh more than both of you, and my ground and pound is tight. I thought everybody knew in this day and age that ground and pound was a MMA reference to getting somebody on the ground and punching them or elbowing them in the head. Then I had to explain that, and then like, yeah, I don't know how comfortable. Like, I used the F word in front of my friend, like he's a real religious dude. Don't ever swear. Or he's my best friend. Matt, feature that. He's my best friend. That's foul mouth and how I'll talk about anything. Like, he's the opposite of that. So I was telling a story about like boxing my brother. I was aware that I was like, he should have seen the look in his fucking eye, because he didn't quite understand what I was talking about, because he's raised in a normal family where, you don't have murderers in the family and stuff. As far as I know, anyway. Uh, if he was a policeman, he would have had to arrest his brother if he knew he was a murderer. So they probably kept it secret from him. So, if there's any murderers on that's my mom's side of the family. They weren't really known for their achievements in manslaughter and bloody affairs. I was going to say blood slaughter. I should have just hung with that. It's like inventing a new word. If there's slaughter, there's probably blood. It's like redundancy to make a point. But anyways, yeah. So we were talking like free and easy, me and my brother, and he was just kind of listening because he's had a life. Me and my brother really haven't. So usually it's better to listen to his stories, because if I can think of one, he's got better stories. I'll think of one and save it for you for later that was cracking me up. Because he's a cop, they see all kind of crazy shit and unbelievable stuff. I'll tell you a story later on you won't believe. But anyways, so we're just talking loosey goosey about stuff, and my brother had that one incident where he was 15, trying to get weed and beer off of this dude that was 19. And all I knew about the story is that my brother and his friends got stranded. His two other friends, there's 4 people in the car, got stranded in some freezing cold outside a bar, and he had to call my dad from a bar at 15 and asked to be picked up. And of course, my dad said, no, you got yourself there. You can figure out how to get yourself home. You know, this is the guy that had us standing up in the back of trucks on the freeway when we were 10. He's not going to worry about his 15-year-old son being God knows where in front of a bar at, it's about 1 a.m. when he got home, so I don't know when he was standing outside. I remember when he got home. So he gets home, and he pushes the passenger seat forward, full cock, punches the driver, who's 19, he's 15, the driver's 19, punches the driver in the head, ricochets his head off of the driver's side window, gets out of the car, and starts screaming and yelling, I'm not done with you. Get out of that fucking car. I'm not done with you yet. This isn't over yet. And my dad came out and yelled at him, which, you know, my dad yells at you, you're going to stop whatever you're doing unless you're really gone. He wasn't really gone. He was gone as far as that guy was concerned. Like when I was gone with my dad, it was between me and my dad. But he was gone as far as that guy was concerned. But he was too afraid of my dad for that not to pull him out of his anger. He was going to kill that guy at 15. At 15, my brother looked like he was 20. Like I said, he could grow a beard when he was 12. So, looks like a Russian. He don't look anything like me. Hairy bastard. So, anyways, I was just trying to make the point when we were driving home from the fishing trip that, like, that guy couldn't get out of the car, you know, because he was a bobblehead. In other words, you hit him so freaking hard, he didn't even know his own name. And my brother took that as a criticism for what he did. So he went into the whole story, and I was like, oh, I heard parts of that story I never heard before. And it was utterly premeditated, like utterly cold-blooded what he did. You know, I knew it was a cold-blooded thing, but he actually talked to, like, the guy's name's Brett. He talked to his friend Brett and said, listen, when we get this, when we get home, I'm wrecking this guy. And he told him that, you know, he said, just so you know, man. And, because he was sitting in the front seat, and I guess he whispered it in his ear to let him know, because he was, you know, as soon as Brett exited the front seat, he, you know, in other words, he was telling Brett, get out of the car, you know, quick, because he didn't have to tell Brett that kind of thing. He knew what was up. So, you know, as soon as they stop, he's getting out of the car. My brother, before this guy knows what's going on, he pushes the front seat forward with his left hand, cocks with his right, and blasts the guy's head off the driver's side window. And my brother can hit like a fucking sledgehammer. He dislocated my foster brother's jaw and to pop it back in place. He sucker punched him. He pulled him around, spun him around, sucker punched him in the jaw, dislocated his jaw, knocked him over a couch that was pulled away from the wall, and knocked down the couch too. That's how hard he can hit somebody. So, you know, that guy he was 15, that dude was 19, and that dude was done. He did not pull out of the driveway for a long time. I do remember that. He did not leave for a while. But my brother left because my dad yelled at him and told him to get in the house. But the car did not go nowhere because that guy was done. But what I found out, or the blanks in the story that I found out, was the weed and beer part, the length of time that they were left out in the cold, the fact that they were left out in the cold in front of a bar, and he told me the exact location, but I don't remember where, but it was way far away from home, and my brother don't drive, so we don't like being way far away from home. But the kicker to the story is, instead of like, he left, the 19-year-old left him out in the cold, and then drove him by his girlfriend's house, and just, you know, didn't get him any weed and beer, which probably would have been a good idea to appease my brother. But not only didn't hook him up, but took him to his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend happened to be my brother's age, 15, and knocked up. And then apparently he made a comment to my brother that was, yeah, they're 8 months is good. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? You know, and And he explained that she was 8 months pregnant and he liked banging pregnant girls. And he's like a 19-year-old with a 15-year-old pregnant girlfriend that they took him to see, that he took them to see after making them wait out in the cold for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, in front of a bar that they were too young to get into. And there was no other place really open for them to get warm. So he said at that point, I told my friend Brett, yeah, when I get home, I'm going to wreck this guy. So he had totally premeditated the whole thing. But yeah, he told that story in front of, I never heard the full story before he told that story in front of my friend. And then I was like, what about the time he dislocated my foster brother's jaw? And he goes, yeah, that sounds like me. He was like, I never liked to fight, so I would just hit people in the face like right off. You break somebody's nose or you just hit them with the first punch, there's no fight. Me and my friend look at each other to start laughing at the absurdity of that. Yeah, there's no fight. What you mean is like there's no extended fight. If you punch somebody, it's a fight. They lost. It's funny. But yeah, he could hit like a motherfucker, man. It's crazy. But see, I could outbox him. So, and I was bigger than him, and I'm a couple years. I'm 3 years older than him, and I could fight better than him. So he would just get medieval too. He did not play around. He tried to shoot me with a bow and arrow, and I've been chased with a hoe, and he ain't a pimp. Hasn't made that joke before. I've been chased with a rake. I've been chased with a shovel. He whipped me across the back with a stick and switched me. That was a very bad thing for him to do because you inflicted pain upon me. When you just threaten me with hoes, it's not bad because you're not hurting me. You're just threatening to hurt me. But he hurt me, so I did what I did. You know. Yeah, this coffee's not agreeing with my stomach. So we had all this violent talk on the way home. I don't know what my very Christian friend thought of it, but we had this like discussion of violence. And I had to explain, after the ground and pound thing, I had to explain that to him. I'm like, well, I guess I should have vetted that joke, and worked it out in front of an audience first. I thought everybody knew what ground and pound meant. And I gave an example. It's like when was living with I told them his name, but I won't tell you his name. But when that little guy was living up here, I had to we were both sitting in chairs. He got overly familiar, and I twisted his arm around. I'm like, listen, man, we're both sitting in chairs now. I can take you right now. I made it very clear that I can pull you out of this fucking chair, get you on the concrete, and beat the living shit out of you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it because you don't have your legs. We're on equal ground. If he's on his feet, he's a tough little bastard. I can't do nothing with him. So, I hurt his arm, and he was like, you hurt my arm, and you hurt my feelings. He's all drunk, of course. But he got the message, man. There was no more handsies being played or anything weird like that going on. Like the Georgia Satellites used to say, keep your hands to yourself. Don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, I was just explaining to him, that's why I made that joke, is because I'm heavy now. If you don't have any jiu-jitsu skills on the ground, I would just put 200 pounds on top of you, and the elbows and fists will start flying. So we had this weird, violent conversation on the way home. That was really fucked up, though. That 19-year-old guy actually, driving them by his 15-year-old girlfriend's house, which he committed statutory on. Well, it was a different time, I guess. He committed statutory on and was, almost showing her off, as my brother put it. Well, that was his perception, anyway. It was yeah, that's a big accomplishment, dude. Knocking up a 15-year-old when you're 19. I'm like, what are you doing hanging around with creeps like that for? Was it to get weed and beer? And he goes, no, he was Doug's friend. Doug was the guy that was sexually confused, where I thought it was funny that my foster brother, everybody knew that dude was gay. That's the dude that ran his fingers through my hair. Everybody knew that dude was gay. But my very homophobic foster brother, who was like, that was one of the guys he was tight with, is like one of his best friends. And it was like everybody thought it was hilarious and nobody ever broke it to him. Well, that would kill the joke. You know, like, your friend is, as we used to say back in the day, queer as a $2 bill. Or was it a $3 bill? I think it's a $3 bill because they actually had $2 bills. So $2 bills, you know, you're bisexual, but if it's a $3 bill, you're homosexual, I guess. I don't know. Different times. But yeah, I didn't get much sleep last night. Definitely not the night before. So you will get a certain level of coherency, and please do not expect any more because it's not going to be there. Um, yeah. So, the interesting thing about the video is not the video itself. That's going to be in the link, but what happened after the video. It's like, I'm supposed to be on steroids to help out my knee and my foot. And, you know, those scooters are not made to be ridden off-road. So, you know, I got a little warning. I took a dip toward the cornfield. And I was like, whoa, this thing goes wherever the ground takes it. But it was wet and marshy, and the wheels were spinning and shit. And I was like, I'm stuck, you know. My brother was like, do you need help? And I'm like, no, I don't need any help. Then, like, I got off of it, and I weigh 204 pounds. The scooter weighs 137. So if I take my weight off of it, it'll go. So I took my weight off of it, and I kept one leg on it, and I put my weight on my bad leg. And I got it to, you know, it's on full power. And I got it to spin and move. But the problem was, I fell back into the scooter. And my leg stayed behind. I thought I had run over my leg at first, which I have done before. With a, like a regular two-wheel gas-powered motor scooter. I ran over my own foot and sprained it. Because I couldn't keep my feet on the pegs because of, you know, bad feet, bad legs. That was a long time ago. I did something similar to that, so I flashed back to that. I was like, did I run over my own foot again? And my foot was just caught up in all this brush, and it was twisted around behind me, and I was pulling on my leg, and I couldn't get my leg out without grabbing it with my arm and pulling my leg out. And my brother wasn't listening to me, and I was like, I just got to get off of this thing. And he's like, no, I can push you out. And I didn't want to turn the throttle while he had his hands up there by the wheels. And I'm like, are your hands clear? And he's like, yeah. So I throttled it backwards. And he pushed me out of the brush. And I'm like, I have to remember that for next time. But yeah, that was like, I was like running that. I was laughing about it because I was having some fun doing something spontaneous for a change. Because if you're like a wounded animal, you don't never get to do anything spontaneous. You have to. I have to think out every freaking step that I make. You know, that's probably why I enjoy the freedom of talking about whatever the hell I want to on here within limits, of course. But it's more freedom than I get in my daily existence because I can just make one bad mistake, and I can get hurt bad. I can, like when I miscalculated my balance and drove that screw into my hand and was like scraped up my finger, had a screw stuck in my hand and couldn't hold my weight up. I was falling over backwards. It's like everything's all calculated, so it's nice to do something spontaneous. Like, I don't know, run a scooter into a bunch of brush and then try to get it out. I was laughing about it. I thought it was funny. I like a certain amount of adventure. And my life is not adventurous at all. It's not fun. It's not adventurous. There's nothing interesting about it. From the inside, you know. I mean, I have to have a certain amount of bravery just to keep existing. And I had tachycardia yesterday, and I was like, this time it's 108, and I'm not moving. I'm just in bed. So I think I took blood pressure pill in the morning and one toward the evening. No, I think I skipped the one in the evening. I took the one when I had the tachycardia in the morning. But no, I've not eaten much. I'm just eating enough because you got to take that stuff with food, apparently, because it says so on the bottle, but if you do take it with food, you better watch what you eat. I had these little trays of noodles, and yeah, they were approved to be too spicy, so I was eating just like plain cheese sandwiches, cheese and bread, and that's all I've been eating is that and Greek style yogurt. And I needed to shave. I wanted to shave last night. I just put hydrocortisone cream in my beard, and that's how bad off I am. So I'm like, man, I got to I got to go to sleep while I can, because I'm not having no 4 hour puke swallowing marathon. That was just absurd and ridiculous. I can't waste my medicine. Awful. I don't know if the mic's picking up my stomach yelling at me. Oh man. I mean, I was happy to get those steroids, but I didn't know they were going to be this brutal on me. But I'm not the same person I was the last time I had them. Even though I still had leg trouble, and of course that's why I was getting them. Because I got cortisone injections in the knee and, oral steroids. And I don't remember them wrecking me like this. But I'm a different person. So, physically. I didn't weigh over 200 pounds, that's for sure. Uh, I guess you have to eat, and you need your vitamins and stuff to avoid getting sick and whatnot, but tempted just to go on a hunger strike. Then I'll get rid of some of this weight. And go, I mean, I don't eat much anyway. It doesn't matter. I don't get to move around because my leg's busted. And, I'll explore the arthritis angle and see what that's about, because you have to move with arthritis whether you want to or not. She said a touch of arthritis. I don't know what that means or how she can tell that from an x-ray. When I was tested for rheumatoid arthritis a couple of years ago, I had to go into the hospital. I got an ultrasound, and they drew fluid from, I think it's called synovial fluid, joint fluid. And he said it shows up like, it looks like little bits of straw in your synovial fluid. I think you remember he said something weird like that. I'll have to look that up. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I used to know things when my brain was unmuddied and not ruined. And plus, I don't really think it's age. I think it's just level of suffering and the 6 years of benzodiazepine use that made me stupid. Like, it's very annoying to me. You know, it's much more annoying not being able to walk. But I'm looking at a basketball game, and I can't think of this basketball player's name. And I'm like, I know the guy's name. It's ML Carr. He was an annoying basketball player for the Boston Celtics. Bench player back in the Larry Bird days. I'm like, I know that guy. They just showed him sitting in the stands. I'm like, I know that guy. I used to play that actress recognition game with people. I'm like, do you know who that is? Because I would recognize people's faces and catch their names right away. I used to annoy people. Now I don't get to annoy people anymore. It's terrible. It's the main takeaway from this is I don't get to be a dick to people by being quick-witted. But no, it's just irritating. Yeah. I will not take that to its ultimate and depressing conclusion, as far as the fact that we're all just biological machines that wear out over time, and that I've heard this phrase. I don't know who said this, of course, because it's kind of making the point for me, but the years of your life that actually matter are so few compared to the parts of your life that don't matter. It's like you got this little window where it decides who you are, it decides who you'll be, it decides what will happen to you later in life. It's this little short window, And then let me see if I can think of a lyric from a song that covered it really well. There's a really good lyric about that. Um, can't think of that either because I'm a brain dead moron now. There's a song lyric I used to like. It'll probably come. It'll come to me like when I'm rewatching the video when it doesn't matter anymore. That describes that a lot. Um, I'll stop torturing you by trying to think of it. But yeah, the old gray matter, it ain't what it used to be. Ain't what it used to be. Ain't what it used to be. The old gray matter ain't what it used to be just a few years ago. Oh, shit. But no, I would just be happy. I'll be happy to be walking around and, of above average intelligence instead of what I used to be, which was everybody was like, "Oh, you're so bright." Oh yeah, you know what? It sucks being bright. It sucks. Yeah. I miss it because it distinguished me. It was my thing. Like some people had, like have strength or height or yeah, they can spin plates on their fingers or do tricks or do impressions. You know, oh, that'd be cool to do impressions. They have their thing that they can do. Like that was my thing. Everybody always told me that. I had somebody testing me for abstract reasoning, and they were like, said it all inspiringly, like you're the highest person I've ever tested. I'm like, that don't help me sleep at night when I'm thinking about my horrific past. That's what I'm thinking to myself, like, oh boy, great. But no, I used to take pride in intelligence, and I can still argue and stuff when I have time to think. That's why I can still write really well. I can still like argue really well if I have time to think of things. I, but it's just it's just not there anymore. It's, I'm reaching for. It's like my arms got shorter, and the stuff's still in the cupboard somewhere, but I can't reach it. So I need to like take a chair and hop on a chair, but first I have to walk across the room and get the chair, set the chair down in place, climb up on top of the chair, steady myself, and then I can reach whatever's in that cabinet. Old days I used to be just able to reach in there and grab it whenever I wanted to. It's still there somewhere. Yeah, yeah. The part of your life that really matters is very brief. The rest of it is just toughing it out and dealing with what happened in that period of time where things mattered, where the decisions that you made were really important. And I know there are probably people disagreeing with me right now as I say that, but it's my opinion. Like, for instance, I would not be talking to you right now if I had made the right decision when I was 15 years old and said, look, man, there's something wrong with me. And it's serious because sometimes I can't be. And they would have got that tumor earlier and it would have done less damage to my spine. Instead, I just hid the fact that I was having certain issues. The peeing was like the last straw because you kind of need to do that. But I was also having like coordination issues. I was having other issues, but I was too chicken shit to face up to it when I was like 15 in that area there. I knew there was something like wrong. And I definitely knew there was something wrong when I was starting to have to sit down to pee because it was taking a really long time. I just ran from it. So that's the time or part of your life that matters is when you're finding out who you are when you're young and the decisions that you make, like in high school age, and even before that, really, and then like through into your 20s. By the time you're 30, you can flip your life around and you can make new decisions and stuff like that. But all you're doing is compensating for that chunk of your life from, say, I'll just throw up some ages. 12 to 30, that you know, it's going to set the course of your life. Did you go to college? Do you have your smarts on paper? Do you have a resume? Did you have steady employment? You can change your life into like, no, I was an alcoholic fuck up, and then at 30 I got sober. Then I was able to hold down a job and get a girlfriend, you know, that wasn't a lush and didn't cheat on me and shit. Now I got a decent life. But yeah, that's the part of your life that determines. That's the part that matters. So I made some bad decisions in the part of my life that matters. Then I got stuck in a situation like just a little bit past 30 where there was no right answer to. There was no right decision to be made. And I realized, well, I was just fucked from the beginning. It's like I was just dealt all spots in the last point of a hand of euchre. There's nothing I could do about it, you know. Struggled against it, you know. They say the journey that is all that matters, but if this is the destination, man, the destination kind of seems important. But you know what? We all lose. It's just a matter of how we lose. It's like, you know, people consider Michael Jordan the greatest winner of all time and stuff like that. And like when he gets up in the morning, I'm sure he hurts. I'm sure he misses I know for a fact that he misses all the fame and adulation. He still cares about his legacy or who he was, you know. He plays it off as best he can, but he always, like, they call it clapping back nowadays, but he always has something to say about LeBron that's like just below the radar schneid, you know, like yeah, it's like he's real, you know, he's a corporation, so he's got to be real careful. He just can't come out and say, look, I was better than him. He sucks in the clutch. You know, I never lost a championship and all that shit. He has to be real careful about it. You can tell he cares, like he wants to be the greatest of all times. So, yeah. So even for him, the destination it matters, because if he was really satisfied with what he had achieved in the past, why would he give a fuck about like new guys coming up or like being held in higher regard than him? That's just a sign of a narcissistic sociopath, which can help you in a lot of career paths, you know. But I won't try to like fix that or bend that into what I was talking about previously. I mean, it fits, but I was going to like twist it around and show you how it fit. But nah, I'm just trying to keep my stomach from blowing up. It feels awful. And part of that, yeah, part of that is the drugs, but most of that I think is like, you know, I don't know if you've ever like been in intense pain, but you don't think too clearly, or tried to think while you're in intense pain. It doesn't work too well. It's kind of distracting. If you want to really have full focus and concentration, it's best not to feel like a human toothache. So I should even say that word. I've been worried about that lately. So it's funny, like I think I told you this before, but like the aid worker that I like is 68 years old and has all her teeth and is complaining to me about losing her first tooth when she's 68. And I'm like, you know, like, yeah, what are you gonna do next? Complain about, you know, you're not walking so good these days? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But she's like, oh, I put all this money. You're 60 fucking 8 years old, man. She's like, I always cared about my teeth, and I put all, like, never spared any expense with my teeth. It's like, your teeth don't care about how much money you got. It's like, you're 68 years old. It's okay. And she's like, well, how am I going to be able to chew food? And I'm like, look, I only got 3 teeth that meet up here. I don't have anything in the back that meets anywhere. And, yeah, I don't like to wear my partial plate dentures. So, it just cracks me up. She's worried about not how am I going to be able to chew on the other fucking side? It's not a problem. And sooner or later, you'll be chewing on that side once your gum desensitizes, and you'll be fine there too. Yeah, man, it just seems very stupid to me. This woman's spry as hell. She's got the energy of a 35-year-old, from what I can tell. And, whether she's one of them people that shuts down by 6 o'clock and just. I remember being young and I went to the Daytona 500 racetrack and saw the Pepsi 400. I took a walk after we got home, and it was a long damn day. I took a walk at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Didn't go to sleep until 5 a.m. Through Florida, stealing people's grapefruits out of their yard. And they thought it was funny as hell, but I didn't see anything particularly funny about it. It's just like, well, like, well, why do you got all these grapefruits? And I'm like, I was taking them. What do you mean taking them? I was just walking through your neighborhood, man. Everybody got grapefruit trees and orange trees around here. This isn't like Ohio. Like, you just walk in people's yards and pick their fruit. And I'm like, yeah, why not? 4 o'clock in the morning, ain't nobody out. They thought that was like crazy. I'm like, aren't you the guys that used to like shoot at each other, and you killed somebody when you were 12, and like, yeah, you did this, and you locked him outside and deliberately got him stung to death, butt ass naked. And they dared the one brother dared the other brother to go outside and knock down a hornet nest naked. The younger brother fell for it, but he locked him outside so he couldn't get away from the hornets. So the younger brother, they never asked him if he got stung on his junk. The younger brother got all stung by the serious hornets, not them little pussy yellow ones, the big white and black ones. So he had to go to the emergency room, and it almost killed him. And they're criticizing me for like walking into somebody's yard and picking a grapefruit off a tree. There's something that seems very inequitous about that. That they would think my behavior was crazy. It's like, I never had BB gun fights, in which I got corrected on that with somebody else. They're like, no, we never had BB guns. We always had real guns. I didn't ask, well, did you ever like shoot at each other? Because I know they did. But then, of course, later on, they told me that one day that my friend in Florida, my cousin, was garrulous. He was talking. He's like, I don't feel too bad about that. I do feel bad about like when I was just tired of being around. I almost said the guy's name. The guy's name just is such a cool name. We'll call him Joey R. He was like, I did feel bad that one time that Joey R was standing in front of a washing machine because they had like a whole bunch of abandoned crap on their, junk all over their property. And he was annoying me, and he wouldn't go away, so I was shooting at him with a rifle. And I was like, he didn't go away like after the first shot. He's like, no, I had to shoot at him a couple of times. He's like, that was stupid. He's like, that was very dangerous. I shouldn't have done that. He's like, I just let him talk. There's a million questions that come up from that story, but I just have a mental image of him like, shooting at somebody to get rid of them just because, just go home now. I had enough of you today. Use your words, not your bullets. Use your words. So he's like shooting the washing machine. It's a hillbilly thing. We like to shoot washing machines and abandoned cars and, just any old refrigerators. We just hate appliances in general if they're not in your house. So anyway, he's like, he said it was a washing machine. He was shooting this washing machine that Joey R was standing in front of just because he wanted him to go away. I thought that's hilarious. I'll tell you the story of that my cop friend told me. So he gets a call that this guy is reporting suspicious activity next door, and he's like, goes to the guy's house, knocks on the door, and it's like, what's going on? He happened to be in the neighborhood, and he goes like, well, it's not even this guy's garbage day, and it's way early anyway. He never puts out his trash cans this late, and there was like, I heard noises And they're on vacation anyway. He's like, something weird's going on here. And then my friend the cop, he goes over and he looks, and there's two pillowcases beside the garbage can. He opens one of them and he can see that it's nothing but uncirculated gold and silver coins of great value. He opens the other pillowcase. Again, nothing but uncirculated in them little cardboard things. Uncirculated coins of great value. He estimated, he collected coins some. He estimated their value at around $500,000. He don't exaggerate. And I was like, well, how much did they weigh? Uh, and he's like, well, each pillowcase weighed between 20 and 30 pounds. And I'm like, what the hell's the world coming to, man, when robbers are too lazy to carry 20 or 30 pounds on their back? See, they had robbed the place on foot. They realized it would be a long walk carrying $500,000 worth of gold and silver coins on their back. So they figured they'd just put it next to the garbage can, and then nobody would know the difference because it's beside the garbage. They would just think of it as garbage. So they would walk back to their house, get the car, and come back around and pick up their booty. So I was like, that's crazy. He's like, I had to run through it a couple of times. It's like, that's crazy. And he's like, yeah, I took it back to the police station, and I had it in this room, and I had on this big table, and I was sorting out all the coins and looking through them. I was like, oh, that had to be fun. And he goes, yeah, it was fun until the lieutenant and this detective came in there and ordered me out. I'm like, what do you mean they ordered you out? He was like, they ordered me out. They were just like, get out of here. And that's all. And I I said, look, this is my case. This was my call. Just to protect the chain of evidence, I should be here. And they're like, look, I'm a lieutenant and you're a foot patrolman. Get out of here now. And they ordered him out of there. And then he said, I wonder exactly how many of those coins that guy actually got back. He had no illusions about it at all. He was like, yeah, there was no reason at all for them to order me out of there. They ordered me out of there so they could put some of that shit in their pockets. How much, who knows? But I mean, it was like crazy amount of gold and silver coins of ancient vintage. And I was like, that's a crazy damn story, man. It was like, dude, I said, man, just to use it as a footstool, I carried a piece of wood about that big, by about that big around on my shoulder. Pillowcase, at least you got a handle. I've carried 20 or 30 pounds of groceries on my back through the snow. And these lazy sons of bitches cheated themselves out of $500,000 because they were like, oh, fuck this, man. This is hard work, this robbing shit. We got to go get the car. And just left the shit. Then went to get the car, and the guy called immediately, and he was in the area and got the call and showed up. And they saw the cop car there, and they're like, fuck. I was like, did you notice any cars going by? And he goes, yeah, there was a couple cars that went by. And I'm like, he usually gets there ahead of me, especially if it's his job that he's been doing for 30 years. And I was like, yep, they saw what was up. And he said, they did. They weren't going to stop. Apparently they didn't know what they had. I don't know. I don't know how you could not know what you had. And he was also pointing out, like, I was like, where was this at? He's like, oh, it's behind Country Fair Shopping Center on Valley View in Canton. And I'm like, I know that neighborhood. I know that road. I was like, those aren't rich houses. And he goes like, yeah, I know. He says, I have no idea why they would have $500,000 worth of coins in their house. And I'm like, well, obviously they were being smuggled the dragon and like hoarding them and, doing that little miserly thing, like, look at my coins, my precious. I was like I was just doing that with these football cards here. And seeing what I got value-wise. And he goes, yeah, that's probably it. Because they should have had that stuff in the safety deposit box in the bank. Had that stuff stashed somewhere safe. Yeah, he's got all kind of he can tell you stories, endless stories. He's a fairly good storyteller, but you know, it all blends together for him after 30 years as a cop. So, yeah, that story I just heard, so I told it to you almost verbatim. Um, but, anyways, he's got like, like the tape deck story where the janitor and the $600 where it fell off the out of the dumpster and just happened to hit the eject button on the way down. He ejected $600 into this janitor's hands, and he gave it to my friend when he was working as a security guard at Walsh College. And then, like, at the Canton Pro Football Hall of Fame, he got to cock block Troy Aikman from getting the fancy eats, because they have different tiers apparently as far as tenure as a Hall of Famer. Very weird system to me. Hard for me to comprehend, but he was like, you have to have a special tag whether you're a Hall of Famer or not to get into this one room. And Troy Aikman showed up. And I was standing in the doorway, and he's like, just want to go in there and get something to eat. And he's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Aikman, but you can't. He's like, what do you mean you can't? What do you mean I can't? So just like, no, he can't. And he had to walk away mad. And the prima donna quarterback. It's just weird that they have to make those designations. Like, thought once you're a Hall of Famer, then they're all equal. But apparently they're not in the eyes of the catering services that cater the food. They had the special food for the old timers, and he wasn't the new timer, the new guy. That might have been his induction year. I don't know. But yeah, he worked security at the. Uh, it would make sense if why would they have security if it wasn't part of the induction ceremony? I'll have to ask him, because he's not. I might forget the details with my damaged brain, or it might be that he's not real detail oriented in his storytelling. But I think it's the quality of the stories that are good. I think he's a good storyteller. I mean, I was listening to my brother's story, and sometimes I just miss things, so like, I'll put it on me. See, I was talking about my older brother and how I was boxing him, and like I split his lip. We had like pillowcases on our hands for gloves, and that's how I learned how to box. It's like that's how I graduated. Is I made my very mean older brother bleed, split his lip, and he just looked at the blood and got this look in his eye, and I don't think Sam understood what I was talking about. So I said, you don't understand the fucking look in his eye. And that's when I said the F word in front of him. He's like, he doesn't approve of as a cop, he's heard every vulgarity imaginable, of course, but he doesn't swear at all. So I just try not to, I try to swear as little as possible in front of him, but he wasn't getting the point. It's like, when my brother or my dad looked at you that size, like the Grinch's heart, it was your balls would get several sizes too small. So it's like, because you knew like there could be pain, that person's taking a life. There could be pain for sure in your immediate future. And like I had the thought that I had afterwards when I saw my brother's eyes get like that, is like, that's the last thing over 100 people have probably seen for about anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour of, unconsciousness, of course, getting knocked the fuck out. Because he used to come home and his hands would be all fucked up, and he'd put like frozen peas and frozen vegetables on his hands. I don't ever remember him coming up with his face all beat up. So he might be like me and not be a bleeder. Because when I got just destroyed in a fight, I bled on the inside of my mouth. And it didn't show up on the outside, but it poured out of my mouth. Like a whole bunch of blood poured out of my mouth. I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I'm mixing up two different things. Yeah, I got the scar tissue on the inside of my mouth from that. That's why you wear a mouthpiece when you box. But that wasn't really boxing. That was somebody trying to kill me. So that don't count. Well, it's good to do something, even if it is painful. Talking, I haven't, talked since the incident. of the fishing trip, which I caught 6 bass, all small, and it, there's a ton of small bass in there. The only thing that was caught that was any value was, my brother said it was 5 pounds, but I don't know if it was 5 pounds. It was 18 inches long, but fat. He said, "Oh, that's a 5-pound bass." And I didn't argue with him about it. I said, "Well, it's at least 4." That's all I said about it. It was a good bass. And next time, I'll have either I'll learn how to work my camera, even in the bright sunshine where you can't see anything, or I'll just have it set up to go to video, because I had to switch it from camera to video and then wait for the buttons to appear, and I can't even see anything on the screen. But today he's going to get a cheaper version of a GoPro. I think it's called a Velasky or something like that. I don't know what the hell. Something with a V. I was able to get him that and the card, memory type card that you can pop into your computer to record video. It's a wee little camera, and I don't think it has a headband to it, but you can just clip it onto your shirt pocket. It's a wee little thing, so I can fish with him even if I'm not able to go. Though it's my brother, you never know how he's going to respond. He could be like, "I don't want this. This is just more work." I mean, I gave him the internet for like a year free, and he never used it. Because, well, he's more sane now. Now he loves the internet, I don't ever bring that up, though. Yeah, I paid for a full, as a present to him for his birthday. I ordered him the internet. They would have came there. It was a self-installation kit from AT&T. They would have came. They just send you the box in the mail, and you know what that is. And he didn't make any effort for a year, and then, like, as a point of fact, I got a computer off of somebody and set it up, hooked it in for like the last 2 weeks of the free year of internet I had, just to make a point. And there was just this computer in the corner. My ancient father was more interested in it than he was. Now you can't pry him off of the internet like anybody else. I was like, "Man, you don't understand. You can shop over the internet. You can do this. You can do a lot of things." Like, I didn't say it, but the internet is tailor-made for you because you're a shut-in. You don't ever go anywhere. You don't ever do anything. It's why you're so fucking depressed that you don't know that I'm giving you a kingly gift. And he actually gave me shit over it. Because I was like, "Did you hook up your internet yet?" And he was like, "Stop bothering me about that." Like, "I don't care about the internet." I don't remember if I cried, but I got my feelings hurt. But so I don't know how he'll react to this gift. But let's go show up at his house today. But he might like it. He might not like it. He might actually complain about it. He might thank me for it. I don't know. All I know is I had like a 50% discount on it, so the whole thing only cost me like $32, so it doesn't really matter anyway. It didn't cost equal to whatever, the $250 or whatever I paid for the year's worth of internet. That was, I don't know what year that was. I got on the internet myself full time in 1998, I think. So I stopped going over to my folks' house and talking to my dad in 2003. So it was sometime between 1998 and 2003. I got him the internet for free, and he yelled at me for it. I wish somebody would pay for my internet for a year for free, because that would be like a $500 value. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, it's always weird, like, people, when they don't, it's one thing, like, everybody gets gifts that they don't like, but you have to be gracious about it. You have to say, "Oh, thank you for this useless thing that I didn't need in the first place and will never use. Hopefully you do not expect me to produce it at some point or ask me any follow-up questions about your gift," which I think is extremely rude. Just give somebody something and forget about it. Don't ask about it. Because I got gifts from people that actually asked me about the gift 10 years later. I think even 20 years later with my aunt. She got out of prison and she gave me a bunch of her books that she had from prison. and she would bring it up periodically, like 20 years later. You know those books that I gave you when I got out of prison? I finally threw them out here within the last 5 years. I kept them for so long. I don't know if I'm just against throwing out books. I don't think I kept them to appease her. I don't. I'm just against throwing out literature of any kind, even if they're like old textbooks. Most of them were old textbooks that probably were worthless. But anyways, yeah. So I don't remind him of a gift that he hated, but now I bet he wishes I would pay for his internet for a year. So I don't, that's old stuff. But as far as like accepting gifts graciously, it's like I really did get insulted when I actually gave, and my brother-in-law would be perfect. This isn't my foster brother. This is my brother-in-law married to my sister, named Wizard. It was actually perfect for him because he's like me. He's not a good typist, and he actually writes so much on the computer that he wears the keys off of the computer. That's why I make so many typos when I write, is because I'm a hunt and pecker. Pause, as the kids say nowadays. And half of my keys are blank. So, I have to turn on the light just to get into my computer in the morning because I'm trying to write out my password. I almost told you my password. That's probably not good. I have to write out my password and I can't see, and I try to do it by feel, like by braille. Like, I gotta turn on the light because, I'm like a lot of people. I'm plugged into the internet, especially a lot of people. I don't get to go outside and do things. Just damn near from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. Anyway, so I give him this gift that's called Dragon Speak. That's voice recognition technology, and it cost me very little, like $18 or something like that. But I gave it to him for his birthday, and he was like, "I hope you didn't waste too much money on this." Not the yeah. I think that's the last gift I bought him. My dad used to do that stuff all the time too. Hope you didn't waste too much of your money off on this. You shouldn't have wasted your money. You give somebody a gift, and they're like, "You shouldn't have wasted your money or your thought." They say it's the thought that counts, but you have bad thoughts too. Your thoughts suck. you know? But the funny part about it is, like, it's an ideal gift for him. It's like a gift that makes perfect sense. It's like if I wasn't so lazy and could find the disc, I would have it installed on my computer right now because I write all the time. And if you've ever used like voice recognition technology to write, it's on most of these smartphones, maybe all of them. But if you ever use it to write, all you have to do is like go back and make a few corrections here and there and like proofread it. It's pretty cool. I gotta look that up and see where that disk is. I had to like uninstall the program when I had to wipe my computer because of people on the internet are assholes and vandals, and I picked up something on my computer that I had to wipe out. But yeah, it's called Dragon Speak or something like that. I have the appropriate voice for it right now. I have a dragon's voice. Well, thief, Baggins, sounds like you're from that miserable town, Shire. That's not right. Richard Boone does the voice of that in the old cartoon. It's not quite good. I don't remember the quotes either. But anyways, yeah, these steroids things just don't agree with me. But I think I take them for, well, what I'm going to do, since I took 6 the first day, 4 the second day, I'll take 4 today, then 3, 3, 2, and 1. The whole idea is you're supposed to trail off of them slowly because they're bad for your liver. That's what they say anyway. I don't think these are the androgen type steroids that build muscle. I don't know. It's prednisone. I don't know that much about steroids. The anabolic steroids. I don't know. Prednisone's an anabolic steroid. It's an anti-inflammatory. And so when I took it the one time before, it took the swelling down completely in my right ankle. It didn't, I don't remember, it didn't really do a whole hell of a lot for the knee, I don't think. But I wouldn't know either way because I believe they shot me up with cortisone at the same time with the knee because he said that my knee was so swollen. That's what was happening with my ankle. He's like sometimes when people have a Baker's cyst that's really bad like yours, that it affects the joint of the ankle. I was like, yeah, it hurts like all the way down. He was feeling my leg all the way down, and he was like, yeah, seems to be. I think that's what it is. And now they're saying like the Dr. Chen guy said that you don't feel anything at all back there because apparently you can feel the cysts behind the knee, which I never did, but I don't have the educated fingers of doctors that go around feeling knees all the time. So, um, as far as like worrying about things like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, you don't want to start worrying about all the things that can go wrong with your body. That's not a road you want to go down. Could be this, it could be that. Plus, arthritis, as far as I know, they have like medications that treat the symptoms, but they ain't no fuck ton you can do about it anyway. You know, it's like worrying about, oh, I could have this form of cancer, or I could have COVID, I could have this, I could have that. You know, especially me, where I'm getting things that would be symptoms to other people that are just nerve noise. It's just pain that's trapped inside my body like a skipping record from 1986 because I'm living in the past. That's what happened when I got my second surgery in 1986 is they call it a feedback loop, but you get a pain feedback loop that goes directly from the spinal column back to the spinal column and is interpreted by your brain as pain. So they used to call it RSD because sympathetic nervous system is part of your autonomic nervous system, and it is the part that has your pain response connected to it. There's norepinephrine, I think, is you have an abundance of the hormone norepinephrine in your body due to this autonomic disease. And that's where all the delicious pain comes from. So, um, but it's rather complicated, and I don't really remember it because I don't, you have something for 30 years, why do you want to think about it every day? Especially if you have to feel it every day. So my point is, like, I'm getting, worry about things like rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, something's definitely wrong with my knee. It could be rheumatoid arthritis. The arthritis that she says she sees on the x-rays. She could be just saying, because doctors will throw shit out like that. She could be just saying, look, it's like she saw my leg, she saw my knee. She was like, hey, you're getting to be that age. Could be just throwing it out there and has nothing to do with the x-rays. I don't even remember how she phrased it on the phone. If she might have said something like the x-rays seem to show like you have some degeneration of the joint. She might have even said possible arthritis. I don't know. I don't pay attention to doctors all that closely. You got one doctor that's acting like the prednisone will kill you, and you got the other doctor that doesn't even hesitate. It's like, oh, I'll write you the prednisone. And then you take it and you're like, maybe that first doctor was right. Because, yeah, it's not doing me a whole lot of good right now as far as the way I feel. But you got to you got to run through the whole course of it, take all the pills, and then see what happens. Oh, I don't know. Is that enough blather for you, or you feel like you need more? I don't feel like this was a very good video, but I often get that feeling. And sometimes I'm even right. Yeah, that was weird though, right on that car ride home. I don't know what was going. I know he's tired, and I think he overloads his schedule because he's getting to be that age. And honestly, he's got arthritis in his neck. I'm talking about our friend now that's 67. He's got arthritis in his neck. He's got a knee. He's like, you got the opposite problem. I can't extend my leg all the way, and your leg extends too far. And I told him, like, I don't know if I shared this thought with you, but I think what I really need is one of those metal braces that have like backing in the knee. Yeah, I've talked about this before. To keep my right leg from bending back too far. I think that would do me a lot of good as far as my balance and the ability to use my leg safely, because it's hyperextended. To keep it from to keep it, instead of doing this, to keep it straight up, you have to have something that's, hitting the back of your joint. And when I strapped it on just for the hell of it, pause, um, the neoprene brace, and I was checking it out. I'm like, no, that thing don't do shit, man. I put that thing on so tight it left indentation marks in my leg, and I'm like, that does not keep your knee. You need something with like the hinges, like the metal hinges that stop, and you can't go in. You got stretchy neoprene. It's not going to stop it from hyperextending like that. Well, my legs are aching or my knees aching like a toothache right now. So it might not do anything about pain level or anything like that, but it might help as far as functionality. I'm gonna ask them about it next chance I get. If there's a follow up call. Sometimes this place has been pretty chatty. So if there's like a follow up call from a VPA, Visiting Physicians Association, about how the steroids go, I'll talk to them about the knee brace, or I think they send people out here like I think every 4 to 6 weeks. They do everything like boom, boom, boom. It's pretty cool because it's like she's like, oh, I'll write you the steroids, but I want to get some X-rays first. And I'm like, well, when can I expect the X-rays? She's like, maybe later today. And I'm like, what? It was like 10 o'clock in the morning when she left. She's like, either today or tomorrow. They might come back here today. What is this, like a McDonald's drive-through? The medical equivalent? Everything is, this is like a fast food medical place. Um, Hopefully not in quality, but next day, get a call 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be out there between 10:30 and 12 o'clock. Like, cool. And he did the x-rays on my knee and my ankle right from my recliner in my house. I mean, how you going to complain about that? Whew. So far, I like them. I don't know if they'll do me any good. As far as, I like the whole thing. Is like, I don't have to go anywhere, go through the painful process of that I've run through before. It's just getting to the hospital. Then you have to get to the hospital, go to the outpatient admitting, fill out the paperwork, answer the questions, maybe even get thumb printed and take a mug shot. Then you get whatever test you need. And then you have to wait in line behind other people. They come here and then they're out of here. And it's quick. I was like, I asked them, like, the first thing, I was like, do I have to wear a shirt? And they're like, it's your house. You can wear a shirt or not wear a shirt. Doesn't matter to us. I was like, well, if you're going to do an EKG on me anyway, I figure just have to take the shirt off. And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. So I didn't didn't have to wear a shirt for my doctor's visit. I wore a shirt that one day when the women's folks showed up because I wanted to look my best. Because I was trying to score that prednisone that's killing me right now. Already did damage to my throat. But yeah, I think I'm about played out. I feel like there was something else I was supposed to talk about, but this will have to do. And check the link in the description if you want to really look crappy, wind torn, minute and 43 seconds of looking at a beautiful country farm pond with a little windmill there, and long distance shots of my camera shy fishing buddies. And I'm out of here. About I'm actually about due to poison myself again. I took the first pill at 5:30 in the morning. Since I got up at 4 o'clock and didn't sleep much. Yeah, I'm overdue right now. I gotta take, damn it, I gotta eat a cheese sandwich or something. Take another one of them poison damn things. Anyways, I'll see you on the flippity. I'll see Drunk Maniac used to say upstairs. Goodbye.